Mon Dieu! Lara?
Jean-Yves, my faithful friend.
I fear this is not a social visit.
Only if you want Von Croy gate-crashing the party.
Von Croy?
I think he was looking for this.
The Amulet of Horus. An almost legendary artifact. So, you have found and opened the tomb of Set. This doesn't bode well. Translating from the Hebrew, he who removes the amulet shall once more release the dark power of Set. And Set saith, I am the shadow across the sun. I am the bringer of plagues. My wrath will consume all lands and shall be ceaseless.
The power to summon the sun god Horus to rebind the evil Set shall only be revealed to the bearer of the amulet within the temple of Semiket at Karnak.
The ceremony is complete as the armor of Horus summons the sun god. The armor of Horus. At the dig site in Alexandria, my men talk fearfully of this.
The armor must also be Von Croy's goal.
Only one so ignorant of the prophecies would dabble with such a prehistoric evil. Ah, yes. Releasing Set. But how could you have known, my dear?
Time to put things right and remove a thorn in my side in the process.
Lara, you absolute nincompoop. This is exactly why we can't have nice things. So anywho, hello and welcome everyone to Let's Play Tomb Raider 4 Remastered. Oh, just look at this place. This is Algadis115 speaking, and I would very much like to welcome you to the next chapter of the game, Karnak, and more specifically, the beginning level, Temple of Karnak. Now, I would like to address the differently looking sliding text at the very beginning of the video. The reason is following. Starting from Karnak onwards, we are entering non-linear sections of Tomb Raider 4. This is one of the game's, depending on how you look at it, greatest weaknesses or greatest strengths. It really comes down to personal preference. It's kind of exciting in that you no longer just move forward from level to level, but you can actually move in between multiple interconnected levels, which has a couple of advantages and disadvantages. The advantages obviously are just the sense of discovery and exploration. The disadvantages are, unless you're following a guide or a walkthrough like this, a Let's Play series, you might get stuck and become very frustrated, never knowing if you did everything you could in a single level, unlike in the previous levels or previous games, right? So it really comes down to personal preference. If you're a completionist, it is gonna make things way more difficult, but that's why I'm here. Furthermore, looking at the scrolling text at the beginning of the video, you could already see that today we are gonna get our hands on 34 out of 39 overall goodies. The remaining 5 we are gonna get during our second visit in Temple of Karnak. Same principle applies for kills. We are only gonna land 11 out of the 20 kills in this level. The 9 other kills will wait for us upon our return. However, good news is, when it comes to secrets, we are gonna get our hands on all 4 in the first visit. And also, we are gonna unlock this level's unique achievement already today. Okay, guys? So, that's essentially it. That means our totals on the stat screen should be raised to 125 goodies, 55 kills, 29 secrets, and also, we are gonna break 5 more breakable vessels, which are gonna constitute this level's breakable objects, increasing our total to 9 for the Oops achievement. Talking about the one and only achievement we are gonna unlock, I'm actually not gonna do that in my 100% playthrough of the level. I'm gonna dedicate a separate quick run through the level at the end of this video as a little bonus. It's called Get Over There, and essentially this one is a nice reference to Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. We need to get stung, poisoned, and still almost finish the level, do something crucial in it before we die without using a medpack. So essentially it's a nice introduction to the poison mechanic, how that works, and it's gonna set a time limit on us. This achievement is a lot of fun, it just has a terrible description. It doesn't work for many people, but I finally figured out a reliable way to do it. But later about that as a bonus towards the end of the video. First of all, we are here in Karnak. This is what the scrolls of Samarkand mentioned, at least as translated by Jean-Yves. Maybe Jean-Yves is a terrible translator, who knows, and we are somewhere we shouldn't be. But now, his translations are actually on point. So, this is where we will find the methodology on how to rebind Seth after having released him. But this is a huge temple complex, okay? First of all, the new enemy type, I guess. I would very much like to just bring them to the light. We've seen scorpions before, but not this particular variety, okay? Which is why I would like to take the picture, maybe even with the obelisk in the distance. Ah, we get 2 scorpions for our money. Oh, that's really good. Let's extend the FOV somewhat and also get a good shot of them. And this way we get to see them in the remastered and original coat of paint. See, they are not red like the ones in the Valley of Kings. These are black with some red accents, and these guys don't just deal damage, they will outright poison you. So let's be very careful not to get stung. But they take exactly as much beating as the red ones, so they're really no threat unless you fail to notice them. Again, small medpack. Now, you have essentially 3 different directions you can explore with, which can feel a bit overwhelming, but first of all, let's explore the opening above the column entrance over here. But let's leave that part of the temple alone for now. I would very much prefer to check what's to our left, and that's 3 entrances. See, the one on the left is completely blocked in. I believe this will have a small medpack, come New Game Plus. And the one on the right, well, we cannot really climb up from, but the one in the middle offers such possibilities. So let's take advantage of this, because there are a plethora of goodies scattered here. Actually, getting our hands on 34 goodies in the first visit, or even if we were to count all the goodies together, makes it the second most generous level of the game. There's gonna be only one level with 40 pickups, which is sheer insanity. And that's actually going to be part of Karnak. And again, Tomb Raider 4 veterans, you probably know which level I'm talking about. Kind of the most epic one of the entire game, in my opinion. Anywho, let me show you the way to the first secret. There is a very unassuming crawl space over here. And for your exploration of the 3 archways, you'll be rewarded via a scorpion. If you consider kills a reward, I absolutely do. Oh, but that is not all. That is not all. Instead, we are gonna get a preview of an essential key item. A sun disk and a sun goddess combining into sun talisman. Again, another depiction on a breakable vessel, which absolutely counts for the Oops achievement, of the kind of key item we need to get our hands on to unlock the temple, oh sorry, the tomb of Samarkand, where the hints on what to do, how to rebind Seth using the power of Horus is. Anyway, very nice vessel, but let's do away with it, get our hands on the goodies here. And 4 more should be around the corner. Be very careful, scorpions abound. Oh my god, that was irresponsible of me, almost got stung there. And 3rd one should be just around here. Again, if you expect them, shouldn't be too difficult, although I should probably practice what I preach, because I almost got stung. And by the way, when it comes to these vessels over here, which I always assumed have Greek motifs on them just because of the coloring, but no, these have Egyptian depictions, which honestly confuse the living hell out of me. There's an oxen, there's Egyptian goddess of fertility. This is not Sobek. Sobek is a crocodile. This is, oh shoot, I forgot the English word for, oh, hippo, of course. Hippopotamus goddess. I think she's a goddess of maternity or fertility or something like this. And we see what could be Amit, the Devourer of Hearts over there, and a couple of figures. I think this is Horus and Seth, or maybe Anubis, the more lenient god, and a couple of random people maybe awaiting judgment. Hard to say, but if that's the case, that could be very nice foreshadowing of a puzzle we'll get to experience later on in the game. Now, all the breakable vessels are broken, and you know what, just to show you that I'm not making things up, these are indeed not breakable, okay? see the bullets kind of just bounce all around them, but never deal any destruction or damage. So overall, pretty generous secret, dare I say so myself, and this is kind of the setting of the whole level. It's just constantly gonna throw goodies at you. You're gonna drown in goodies in this one, with no real opportunities to use them. This is one of the strangest decisions of Tomb Raider 4, I find. And I'm talking kind of about the original or the normal difficulty, not about New Game Plus, is that it constantly throws supplies at you, medpacks left and right, but no real situations to use them. Compared to the previous entries, it feels like there's barely any combat in this one, so you're not really gonna be needing medpacks that much, and almost all the traps in the game are either insta-kill or, you know, no damage taken at all, so even then it doesn't make much sense. Anywho guys, what we're looking at is a door that will open as the final obstacle of the level, and it will allow us to continue into the second Karnak level. Lara gives us a hint looking upwards, but I would very much like to go for a swim and trade in a flare for an entire box of flares. Of course, you won't be really needing this if you have the object highlights turned on, but I just find this way more immersive. And guys, again, if you have the action indicators turned on, good on you. If not, you need to remember that these underwater doors are openable via holding the action key. You don't need to hold it the entire time, just as long as Lara starts the actual opening animation. But you need to hold it while she's aligning when swimming to it, okay? This is such a mindfuck for many Tomb Raider fans up to this point, because, again, we are taught that doors need to be opened via switches, levers, keys. Not via holding the action key, and let alone underwater ones. But that is indeed Tomb Raider 4 for you. Okay, so you can see there's the second and third secret right next to one another in an easy to miss crevices though, and I'm gonna try and do something very stupid. I'm gonna try and make it out of this area in one breath without re-accessing the second secret for a rebreather. I do not recommend this, by the way. I'm also gonna take a detour and show you this grate over here. We are gonna be on the other side of it very soon. Well, not exactly, but in this room. Oh, we can pass via the photo mode. Interesting. So, this area, my friends, with this statue, which by the way counts towards the Teomachist, but we cannot reach it now, will be part of our second visit to the Temple of Karnak. For now, there is a strong current blocking us from going further when we reach this room, okay? But it's a really nice foreshadowing, and when we reach it, you'll again have this sense of progression. Okay, so let's try and make it out without drowning, and I'm kind of already regretting this decision, but let's see. I mean, how bad can it be? Okay, this is the bottom with the flare box, and let's just go up, up, up. Oh, okay, it's not that bad. This is no RX Tech Mines with the hypothermia bar. God, that left me traumatized. Tomb Raider 4 is such a breeze and walk in the park compared to Tomb Raider 3. Okay, so, oh yeah, 2 grates that we'll need to open, but first of all, I would very much like to get onto the goodies here. And again, just not having the object highlights means I have an excuse to use flares, which, I don't know why, that just makes me very happy. I would not forgive myself using the object's highlight as a veteran. Okay, guys, so these absolutely beautiful receptacles, which I had no idea what these are supposed to represent in the OG, but now I see some reefs and birds, or swans even, which is pretty damn awesome. Each opens its corresponding grate. To progress the level, and something we need to keep in mind for the Get Over There achievement is just the right one, but the left one will have a small medpack, and of course a shotgun. And actually, I think I talked about it but didn't demonstrate it. But yeah, all that shotgun does is give you, we have 102, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of ammo, and 40 for white shot. And if we pick up a new one, we have 108, so we got 6 shotgun shells for the normal ammo and no shotgun shells for the white shot. Just how I like it, we got the better ammo. And yeah, so shotgun corresponds with its normal ammo pickup. But as we learned, with Uzis that's not the case. Picking up Uzis will give you 30 bullets, but picking up Uzi's ammo gives you 45. Which just doesn't make any sense, but that's what it is. And we'll see how things behave for all the other weapons. We already know that we are gonna get our hands on a crossbow and a grenade gun. Not called grenade launcher, for whatever reason. By the way, many of these flybys you can now in the remastered version of the game skip using the triangle key, or I guess what would be Y key on an Xbox controller, or holding the spacebar on PC. But a lot of these you could also skip in the original version via pressing the look key. But it was very inconsistent, and honestly the inconsistency made it to the remasters. You never know if holding the spacebar or the triangle key or pressing the look key is the answer to skipping a cutscene. Something I don't really care about for our main Let's Play series, but when we'll be rerunning the level for Get Over There achievement, then I'm gonna be skipping all the cutscenes. Thankfully it enables you to do that. Okay guys, so we explored those 3 archways leading to a secret, then 2 more secrets and a canopic jar in the middle path. We have the right path remaining, and look at this beauty. This was supposed to represent horrors in the original. I think they did a terrible job. There are far better looking key items in the original graphics. I don't know what went wrong here, but the remasters took care of that and also captured the sort of magenta colored eyes that Horus is displayed as, even in FMVs. I think that's pretty damn awesome. And guess what? Its counterpart. This is Canopic Jar 1, but we need to get our hands on Canopic Jar 2. Although not in our first visit of the level. Now I would very much like to make it over here without slipping. Wonderful, because up top there'll be a small med pack and I think 2 other goodies. Let's see it. Ah, there we go. Again, shotgun shells, you will just not run out, ever, on the normal difficulty, even if you immediately ditch pistols after finding the shotgun. And there we go. Uzis, yay! So we explored the upper area, but that is not all. This level just keeps going. Now, I'm not really sure about this, so let's make a safer safety drop. Awesome. And this is an entrance deeper into the complex we've seen via the camera flyby, using a little tunnel. I'm not gonna use this now. Instead, I'm gonna show you a different way to access it. I'm actually gonna use this entrance when we'll be doing our revisit of this level, okay? For now, you can either make it over the sandy slope there, or you can even jump up here and cut the corner like this, okay? Ideally not hitting the wall like I did, but you get the gist. And we are inside. So, we have stairs down here leading to some sort of strange ball. That's gonna play a role once we access the mechanism above it, the button that was highlighted by the flyby, and we have 2 pits filled with goodies and scorpions and the way back out that I talked about, that I'm gonna use in our second revisit of the level. Let's not forget the 4th and final secret we can already get our hands on, okay? In OG especially, this is a very dark corridor, so I recommend lighting a flare. And look at this. Now, to be fair, there's gonna be plenty of action later on in Karnak, so... And especially how quickly Uzis run out of ammo, you can never really have enough Uzi ammo pickups. But again, like I said before, Uzis feel like more of an afterthought in Tomb Raider 4. It's no longer the direct upgrade of pistols like it was in previous entries after magnums or automatic pistols. Okay, so you dive into this pit, you're gonna get your hands on a scorpion. If you check the one on the other side, which I do recommend, there's not just a scorpion, but also a small med pack. So, oh my god, whoa! I did not want to jump into you. Okay, that absolutely terrified me, even though it shouldn't. I guess always drop on that side of each pit, yeah, to be safer. They seem to spawn in the other corner, always. Anywho, another thing, you now have the option to monkey swing using this one or that one. Please pick the right one if you're interested in all the kills, because if you monkey swing using this one, you will cause the appearance of another scorpion at the far ledge in the distance, okay? Whereas if you take the left one, you're just gonna miss out on a kill. So I do not recommend that. And I guess somewhere at the halfway point a scorpion should appear. I think we can already let go over here. Yeah, there it is. Yay! See? No biggie. And this, my friends, is not a keyhole, it is a button. Listen to this satisfying click. Just like tearing off a piece of chocolate, I swear. It's wonderful. What it did is it opened the door on the other side of the staircase here, so let's get rid of the poisonous vermin. And now when we interact with this receptacle, guess what happens? The ball was sitting on top of an entire obelisk this entire time. That's such a cool little secret. Okay, remember, you can transition into crawl from sprint, which will also stop Lara from falling down, and from crawl we can make a safer safety drop because there is some unavoidable damage here. Okay, just wanted to show you that. Furthermore, you can go for a swim there, but first I'd recommend picking up the large medbag over here, and you now, my friends, have a choice of entering via the left path behind the left statue or the right path behind the right statue. I'm gonna choose this one with a depiction of Seth, and he looks proper grumpy.
No.
Yeah, if you try to put Horus's canopic jar here,
No.
even Lara vehemently disagrees. But what this will lead to is, well, first of all, sort of a tunnel that's actually a looping way back from the Sacred Lake level back into the Temple of Karnak, but also 2 boxes of shotgun shells tucked away here. And by now this area should look very familiar. I showed it to you through a grate next to the third secret before. This is where a very intriguing statue that counts towards the Theomachus achievement is. However, we cannot yet trigger it in this level, we'll have to wait for the next one. But yeah, this is the grate behind which we've been and the crack with the third secret, remember? So yeah, and like I said, strong currents will keep us from progressing any further. Also keep in mind, whilst you can get here, this is the Horus canopic jar site, there are no goodies over here, okay? That's however not gonna be the case in New Game Plus, but I'm gonna show that to you via a quiet video much later on. So, back to the bowl we go, and it's time to put the first canopic jar into its place. And this, by the way, if we were poisoned at the very beginning and not having used medpacks and got all the way here, would unlock us Get Over There achievement, but that's not quite the case now. I'm gonna do a separate run for that. Satisfying click. And for now, you might be thinking that this is somehow connected to the mechanism behind the statue with the giant water horn for blowing bubbles. Yes, but it's not activated yet. All that it did was open up the entrance into the next level, the Great Hypostyle Hall. Because we need to go through there to get to the Sacred Lake, which is gonna have the second canopic jars. And then an alchemy will be performed in front of our eyes, and the contents of the canopic jars will do something absolutely magical. Something Eckhart would be proud of, I think. Okay, he's actually already running glues, I think, since World War II, that guy, when he was freed from his prison. Okay, so that, I believe, was the last pickup of the level, the box of flares. Imagine how annoying this was to navigate in the original, where you couldn't somersault whilst crawling, and you also couldn't exit crawl spaces forward. You always had to turn 180 degrees in the original. God, just for this alone, I really adore the remasters. Okay. And there we go, we are back at the beginning. See, not at all difficult, and I would just like to make it again to the middle temple part, where the door out into the Great Hypostyle Hall opened up. So, let me walk all the way here. My friends, I would like to very much check the stats to ensure we got everything. So this was our first visit of the Temple of Karnak. We found the first canopic jar and put it in place, opening up the entrance into the Great Hypostyle Hall. Sort of. I'll talk more about that later. What matters is that we got our hands on 34 goodies, raising the total to 125. We landed 11 scorpion kills, raising our total to 55. And we have found these levels, all 4 secrets, raising the total to 29, and broke its 5 breakable vessels, so we are at 9. That's essentially it. We, of course, will scoop up 5 remaining goodies and 9 kills in our second visit of Temple of Karnak, but when that happens, we'll be armed with a couple of more key items. For now, I would very much like to make a level end save here, and I'm gonna see you back at the beginning of the level to show you how to unlock Get Over There achievement. Alrighty, here we are back at the beginning of the Temple of Karnak to unlock Get Over There achievement. So what it actually says is, without preparations or healing, be stung near the obelisk. First things first, without preparations means it will not count if you first get the canopic jar and then get stung here. Secondly, getting stung near the obelisk can mean all sorts of things, but this square specifically always worked for me. I've seen reports of people that it just didn't work for them. And it took me also a while to make this achievement work and figure out What does near obelisk mean? Just remember the small medpack as a point of reference for you to get stung. Furthermore, the scorpions only have a small chance to actually poison you, so it might take multiple stings, and if that happens, you will have taken some additional damage, lowering your overall time to do this, okay? So just keep it in mind. But I'm gonna show you how to pull this off with plethora of remaining time. Honestly, challenge like this is really cool because it introduces us to the poison mechanic, which is really cool, and the gradual increase in the distortion effect it will have. Oh my god, it's already hitting us strong. It's difficult to judge distance for jumping this way. Yep. Oh, my goodness gracious. Hopefully we didn't take falling damage. Anywho, we got our hands on the canopic jar, so now you know what we need to do. All we gotta do is make it to the final temple area, monkey swing across, press a button, put our arm in a receptacle, and yeah, that should essentially be it. And you know what? Just to make things vastly different, I'm intentionally gonna take the tunnel over here, because that's something I didn't do in the previous run. And let's use the left path to monkey swing across and activate the button. My god, I cannot judge distance at all. Okay, but we are good. We're just gonna be holding forward. Poor Lara must be absolutely dizzy and out of her mind. By the way, guys, very important point. If you are poisoned, or even set on fire, and you transition into the next level, your health will fully refill. However, you will find yourself with full health bar gradually decreasing due to poison or a fire status effect. So think of it like Pokemon, you know, status effects. Those will not be healed if Lara makes it to the next level. Only her health bar will be refilled, so you cannot really cheese it quite as much as you'd think, okay? Still, getting a health boost just via crossing a certain threshold is an incredible help anyway. Okay, you have full control over Lara in that cutscene. Whoa, my god, that was close. Remember to make a save for safety drop. It's gonna save you some time for this insane challenge. Oh my god, I just cannot judge my distance. And my friends, we did it with still quarter of time remaining. How awesome is that? So without preparations or healing, be stung near the obelisk and then, well, put the first canopic jar into place. So my friends, that's it for the first visit to the Temple of Karnak. A very relaxing experience. Ooh, not so much for Lara. You know what, guys? Before Lara collapses, I'm gonna thank my absolutely amazing patrons who have helped me get so far. Blangupel, Mick, Severin Drax, Enstickle, Katie Danger, Pooh the 2, and the basic Brian E. Thank you guys so much for being my loyal Winstons and for doing a massive airdrop of all sorts of supplies and goodies all across this level. Next, I would like to say big thanks to my caretaker Winstons, Michael McConkie, Karavetu, Renegade Derny, Blanket Fox, Jonathan Jones, and Dick the Bee. Thank you guys so much for your support of the channel and also for treating all of Lara's ouchies after crashing her Jeep and explaining to her that she shouldn't drive while sleep deprived. Or maybe it's the wine that Jean-Yves offered to her, who knows. I would also like to give a special thanks to my brave veteran Winstons, Andrea Paviglianiti, Alexander, and Richard Dearman. Thank you guys so much for your valiant support of the channel and also for proving once more that your strict training regimen works and Lara is an absolute underwater Olympic champion. Getting our hands on all those goodies in one breath was quite the feat, but thanks to your strict training, she absolutely pulled it off. And finally, I would like to give one very, very special thanks to my one and only fine vintage Winston, Akira Foxmind. Thank you so much for your long and generous support of the channel, and specifically today for putting on your Sub-Zero costume and absolutely kicking Scorpion's ass. Thanks to you, we were able, despite being poisoned, to get to the first canopic jar, put it in place, and not die of poison and dizziness. You've been absolutely essential in helping us get today's one and only achievement. And on a final note, I'd like to say thanks to my free Patreon members as well as to every single one of you for making it to the very end of the video. This really helps a lot, given that all my videos are demonetized, and thanks to you enjoying them to the end, it really helps promote the visibility for other people to see them. And of course, thanks to the financial support of my Patreons, we are keeping this going completely ad-free, which is phenomenal. Now, I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'm so glad I was able to still release it within this week, because that was really challenging. And next time, you will have 2 episodes to look forward to that I'll release on the same day. That's because the next one will be just a very short dip through the Great Hypostal Hall, and I didn't want to make it the only video released on that week, or even on that day. That's why you have twin videos to look forward to next. Okay guys, so I'm gonna start immediately cracking down on those, because it's still a lot of editing ahead. Nevertheless, I hope you will enjoy our first experience of non-linear structure in a classic Tomb Raider, and I'm here to guide you all the way. So until we'll see each other next time, I want to wish all of you happy raiding.